Good afternoon, grade 12 learners. Welcome to this afternoon's exciting session of mathematical literacy. My name is Nikki Wezulu, and please note this lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center, and the broadcast is brought to you by the Phakama Research and Development. Girls and boys, today we are still going to continue with our topic of maps, plans, and other representations of the physical world. But today's specific focus, it is going to be on the seating and the housing plans. Just a quick recap on what we learned the previous time on the section of maps, plans, and other representations of the physical world. We worked with scale, and we learned that in MathLit, we've got two types of scales. That is your number and your bar scale. And then from working with the scale, we know that you will be asked to explain the meaning of the scale. So you must know the meaning of the scale, either a bar or a number scale. And then you must also be able to use your given scale to calculate the actual distance between the two places. And then lastly, you must also know the advantages and the disadvantages of working with either one of the scales. And then after the section of scales, we worked with the maps. And then we dealt with the different types of maps, your maps of smaller areas, your maps of larger areas, like your provincial and national maps. You worked with your strip charts, your distance tables, your elevation maps, all the different types of maps. Now for today, we are continuing, and today's focus, like I already mentioned, is going to be on your seating and your housing plan. And then the lesson objectives for today, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to work with maps of the smaller areas. The maps of the smaller areas are your seating and your housing plans. You should be able to interpret the compass directions and use the compass to give directions. Remember, in MathSlit, when you talk about the compass direction, we have 8 cardinal points. You have your north, east, south, west, your northeast, your southeast, your southwest, and your northwest. Those are the 8 cardinal points that we'll be working with. And then you should also be able to calculate the actual length or distance on the map of smaller areas using either a bar or a number scale. Use the given maps of smaller areas to find the way to the destination. And then lastly, determine the scale in which a map of smaller areas has been drawn in the form of 1:something, and use the same scale to determine the dimensions of your whatever shape or map or distances that you are working with. So if you look at these objectives, it's practically a wrap-up of everything that we have learned so far as far as the section of maps, plans, and other physical and other representations of the physical world. So we are just wrapping it up and summarizing everything. So I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this lesson because it is everything that we've learned so far. Now, and again, a quick recap of the definitions. When we talk about a map, we are talking about a diagrammatic representation of an area of land or sea showing physical features like your cities. And then examples of maps that we are familiar with, it is your national or provincial map. We've got your strip chart, we've got elevation map, street maps, and all the other types of maps that we have worked with. There are so many of them. I will not mention all of them here. And then a map can be expressed as a plan or a chart. When we talk about a layout plan, which is today's focus, with a layout plan, it is a plan of the entire site showing location of plots, building blocks, roads, open spaces, entries, exits, parking, landscaping, etc. And a perfect example of a layout plan, it is a layout plan of a shopping center. When you are studying a layout of a shopping center, you will see it shows all the shops that are in the shopping center. It will show you the entrance to the shopping center, the exit to the shopping center, the bathrooms that are there, the restaurants, the parking, the bathrooms, everything, all the important info that you need to know with regards to a layout plan. Now, the maps of smaller areas, when you talk about the maps of the smaller areas, we are talking about your seating plans in cinemas, your layout stores in a shopping center, the layout at a stadium, and etc. So all these are examples of maps of smaller areas. You can even be given a layout plan of an aeroplane. So it's just an example of another type of a map of a smaller area, because an aeroplane is actually a smaller area. You can be given a layout plan of a classroom where learners will be sitting for their exams, or a school hall. And then a numbering system is often used to locate places in such areas. You'll see most of our plans, they use a certain numbering system, so that if you want to locate a certain shop or a certain desk or a certain item on that sitting plan, you are using the numbering system to refer to whatever item that you want to locate on your plan. Symbols are also used where necessary to make the diagram clear. If, for example, you are dealing with a layout plan of a school hall, there should be some symbols that are given on the side to indicate that if you are looking for bathrooms, this is the symbol that you are looking for. If you are looking for the windows, this is the symbol for windows. This is the symbol for a door. Or if maybe you are looking at the sitting plan of a plane, they will show you that this is a symbol for a chair, this is a symbol for the door, this is the symbol for the bathroom. So symbols are very important when it comes to the sitting plans or the layout plans. A grid reference system, remember we used a grid reference system when we were working with maps, like your A5, B6, C3. That is an example of the grid reference. It is often used to locate places. Remember, I said a numbering system is used, so it can either be a numbering system or a grid reference system, depending on what the examiner decides on that particular paper. And finally, a compass direction indicators are also common. So if you are given a plan, there are high chances that you'll be given a compass, and if a compass is given, you will definitely be asked to give the compass direction of one place in relation to the other place. So we dwelt so much on the compass direction. Just a quick reminder, remember I said with MESLIT, we only work with 8 cardinal points. And then to help you remember on where should your north be, where should your south be, I said that you must never, ever smoke weed. And then you know that this is your north, this is your east, your south, and your west. And therefore, this would be your northeast, this would be your southeast, this would be your southwest, and then finally, this would be your northwest. So these are the 8 cardinal points that I was referring to. Sometimes the compass direction, it won't be as obvious as this one. You will have an arrow pointing that side and they say this is the north. You don't panic because you know that you must never ever smoke weed, and then you work with this particular compass direction as it is. It means now here it would be your northeast, this would be your southeast, here you've got your southwest, and finally here you've got your northwest. And then here is an example of a sitting plan. This is a sitting plan. This is an example of a sitting or a layout plan of a computer lab. So let us study this sitting plan. So when you are given a sitting plan, you will check the number of seats that are indicated. So this type of a sitting plan is got 1, 2, 3, it's 6, it's 12, 18, 24. There's 24 learner seats. If you're going to include the teacher seat, then it means you've got 25 seats. So this is just the information that you must know. And then the other thing that I can identify with regards to this plan is that we are given the compass direction, we are given north, and then we know that we must never, ever smoke weed. So this is the compass direction. The fact that they gave us a compass, we know that they will definitely ask us to give the general direction. We've got the entrance. This is the entrance, so it means this is the door. And then we've got some windows there, guys. We've got the screen here in the classroom. We've got the projector, the data projector. And then we've got the dimensions of the classroom. The width of this classroom, it is 12.0 meters. And then the length of this classroom, it is 13.0 meters. So we've studied our sitting plan. We have all the information here. So should there be questions, and most of the questions, actually all the questions, when it comes to sitting and layout plans, the answers are in the layout plans. You don't even have to look any further. You don't have to think hard because the answers are always there. So here we've identified the number of seats. We can also see the seating arrangements, how the tables are placed, and then direction from one seat to another. So if we were to be asked, how will a person sitting at the first table, which direction must they take if they wanted to move to seat number 24? We will be able to explain that because we can even see how the tables and chairs are positioned. Now, here are the possible exam questions. Before I go to the possible exam questions. So we've studied our layout. We've identified all the aspects of this layout plan. Let us see if we will be able to answer the questions. 1, write down the workstation number where you would sit if you enter the computer lab and turn to your right, pass between station 7 and 13, and take the second last seat on your left, closest to the screen. I like to advise learners that if you get a question like this, you must use your highlighter. If you don't have a highlighter, even your blue pen will do. Let us follow the instruction. So write down the workstation number where you would sit if you enter the computer lab. So this is the entrance. This is you you are entering the computer lab. And then turn to your right. So if you are entering, you are facing that side, this would be your right. Turn to your right and then pass between the workstation 7 and 13. This is 7, this is 13. So they say you must pass between them. This is between them. And then take the second last seat on your left. So as you are moving here, this area is your left. So which seat must you take? The second last seat. The last seat is 12, but the second last seat is what? It is seat number 11. Take the second last seat on your left, closest to the screen. So write down the workstation number. So the correct answer here, the answer is workstation 11. That is where you are going to sit. So guys, questions like this, you will find them in the exam. That is why I'm saying make sure that if you get a question like this where you have to follow the instructions for you to end up at a certain place, make sure that you use your highlighter or you use your blue pen. So the answer there is workstation number 11. The second question, give one possible reason for the data projector to be mounted on the ceiling. Where is the data projector? This is the data projector. So now with this question, they're basically telling us that this data projector is not on the floor, but it is mounted where? On the ceiling. Because if it was on the floor, some learners will step on it and break it. If there was a table that was put here and is placed on a table, again, some learners might trip and then the data projector would fall and break. So what could be the reason why the data projector is mounted on the ceiling? The reason is for safety reason. For safety reasons or for the protection of the data projector. Because if it is there, no one will trip on it and then they break it. No. So when it's up there, it is absolutely safe. So the correct answer here, guys, will say it is for safety reasons. Safety reasons or for protection of the data projector. That is your answer. Okay. Number 3, use the actual length of the southern wall of the computer lab to determine the scale of the floor plan and give your answer as a ratio in the form of 1:something. Guys, we've got a compass direction. We've got never, ever, smoke, weed. So when you're looking at this classroom, which side is the southern side? This is the southern side. So what must happen to the southern side? We are going to use the actual length. The actual length then in the southern side is what? It is 13.0 meters. So use the actual length of the southern wall of the computer lab to determine the scale of the floor plan and then give your answer as a ratio. So what you are going to do, you are given the actual distance. What you must now determine, it is the map distance or the distance on the paper. Remember, your scale will always be written in a ratio form. And in that ratio form, always, it is always your map distance is to your actual distance. So what you are going to do in this instance, you are going to take your ruler. You will take your ruler and you are going to measure the distance from here up to here. When I measure with my ruler, I'm not sure about you guys that side, but when I measure with my ruler, I'm getting 7 centimeters. So the measurement on paper there, it is 7 centimeters. That is the distance on the map or the distance on paper. So the actual distance for this classroom is actually 13.0 meters long. So the actual distance, it is 13.0 meters. Now we've got our ratio, but one of the principles of working with the ratio scale is that the units must always be the same. So we've got a challenge here. We've got centimeters, we've got meters. So we need to make the units to be the same. It is up to you. You can convert these centimeters to meters, or you can convert these meters to centimeters. So I'm going to tell you this, guys. I always prefer to convert a larger unit to a smaller unit. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to convert my meters to my centimeters. A quick recap again. How do we convert from meters to centimeters? We say King Henry died, miserable death, cold, measles. And then we know in between all of them there's a 10, there's a 10, a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. When you move from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you are always going to multiply. From a smaller unit to a larger unit, you are always going to divide. So what is going on now? We want to move from our meters. We are moving toward to centimeters. So we are moving from a larger unit to a smaller one. Therefore, what are we going to do? We are going to multiply. And we multiply by how many tens? It's 1, 2. So it means the zeros is how many zeros? It's 1, 2 zeros. So now we've got 7 centimeters is to 13 multiplied by 100. It is 1,300. But now the units are the same. It is centimeters. And then we are happy. Another thing about the ratio scale is that it must always be in its unit form. So here they told us that they want it in unit form in as 1 is to something. So to change the 7 and make it a 1, we must divide by what? By 7. It's centimeters. What we do on the left hand side, we must also do on the right hand side. So then you're saying 300, take out your calculator, divided by 7. The answer is 42,85. So it means this is the scale that was used on this plan. And then the instruction didn't say that the scale must be in the simplest, in the nearest whole number, or the nearest 10, or the nearest 100. So they just said we must just determine the scale. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a scale that is a decimal number. Our scale is 1 is to 42,85. So there are 2 things that you must consider, okay, actually 3 things that you must consider when you are determining a scale that is used. Number 1, you need to measure. They will, most of the time, they will give you the actual distance, and then you must measure your map distance. And then always remember, when you write them, it is always your map is to the actual. That is number 1. That is how you write them. And then secondly, you must make sure that your units are the same. And then I'm advising you to always convert a larger unit to a smaller unit to avoid working with a lot of decimal numbers. So advisable to convert your larger unit to a smaller unit. And then thirdly, the last step is to make sure that your scale is in the unit form. In a unit form, meaning that it must be 1 is to something. And then whether your scale is a decimal or a whole number, it is fine. It depends on your calculation. Again, it also depends on the instruction. And in this example, there was no instruction on how we should round off. So that is why we are leaving our answer as 1 is to 42,85. We've got a different sitting plan here. This is adapted from the National Senior Certificate 2019 June paper 1. So number 1, the sitting plan alongside represents the sitting arrangement in a coach of train. So before we go any further, let us study our sitting plan. So we've got the compass direction here. We've got the north facing up, and then we know if it is the north facing up, you need to complete all other missing directions. And then this is the front of the coach. This is the door. This is the symbol for the door, as they've indicated here for us. If you are looking for windows, you must look for this symbol. And then there are the windows, I can see them. And then we've got two types of seats. We've got a seat without a power socket. That would be your normal seat, for example, like this one. And then you've got a seat with a power socket. What is a power socket again? It is a plug where you can be able to insert your phone charger, and then you can charge your phone or even your laptop. And then we've got a seat with a power socket. A seat with a power socket, we will see that is this seat that has an asterisk inside it. So these are the keys. And then this is the back of the coach. We've got a toilet here. And then there's also a numbering system that is used for this coach. It's more like a grid reference. We've got the alphabets this side, and then we've got the numbers that side. For example, if I wanted to locate seat number F6, this is F, this is the number 6. So this seat would be F6. This is how I would locate F6. So the most of the coaches, the trains, or rather the buses, when you hire them, when you buy a ticket, you are actually given a seat number. So you don't just go and sit wherever you want to sit. You need to sit according to the allocated seat number. So A, how many passengers can be seated in one coach? So when you are asked this question, guys, they like answering these questions. They are expecting you to count all the seats there, one by one. It's very heartbreaking because most of the learners are actually getting this question wrong. And people are not getting it wrong because they don't know. People are getting it wrong because they are lazy. They don't want to count. So you are going to count. So this block is got 6. This one is got 6. We've got 6. We've got 6. And then there's another 6, a 6, a 6, a 6. There's a 6. You've got 4 here, but there is 5. And then there is 6. So how many 6s do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the number of seats there, it is 6 multiplied by 10, which is equals to 60 seats. So you've got a total of 60 seats. That is how you answer this question. So I did it the shortest way that I could, but if you want, there's nothing wrong with counting them manual to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right up until seat number 60. The most important thing is that you make sure that you are accurate. And then B, you must write down the seat number closest to the window and the toilet. Remember, these are the symbols for the windows. And then here is the toilet. So for this question, we cannot be looking in the other side of the coach. It means we need to be looking here at this last 2 seats. So which seat between this one and this one, which one is closest to the bathroom? Remember, the entrance to the toilet is there. So if a person is sitting here at K1, they'll have to travel all the way there and get inside and go back to the table. Whereas if a person is sitting in K6 here, they will just have to take the door and then go straight to the toilet. So therefore, from this, I think we can all conclude that the nearest seat that is closest to a window, it's also close to a window and the toilet, it is seat K number 6. So seat K6. That is the seat that is closest to the window and the bathroom. In which general direction is the toilet from seat B6? This question, they ask about general direction. As soon as they ask you about general, when you see the word general, then you know that you must apply your compass direction. You must apply your cardinal points. And then another key, they're saying from seat B6. So when they say from, this place that they mention from, that is where you will go and place your compass direction. So where is B6? This is B6. So you are going to draw your compass here at seat B6. And then it is never, ever smoke weed. So they want what? What is the direction of the toilet? So when you are here, where is the toilet? there is the toilet. And what is the general direction here? It is southeast. So the general direction of the toilet from seat B6, it is southeast. Now, here is another instruction. Remember, I said if you are given an instruction, it's always advisable to use your highlighter. If you don't have a highlighter, your blue pen will do just as well. A man seated on seat J2 uses the following route to move to another seat. So let's locate our J2 first. This is 1, this is 2, this is A, this is J. So where is J2? So this man is sitting here. And then guys, take note that these seats are facing opposite direction. This seat is facing that way, but this one is facing that way. So this man is sitting here. A man seated on J2 uses the following route to move to another seat. So from J2, when you are facing there, from J2, turn left and walk towards the aisle. Remember, this is the aisle. So you are going to turn left and then you walk towards the aisle. Here is the aisle. We follow this instruction. He turns left and then here is at the aisle, he must turn left. So they're saying he turns left and continue straight until he reaches the front of the coach. So he continues straight until he reaches the front of the coach. He then turns right, and then at the front of the coach, he turns right. He then turns right and sits in the middle seat. So you've got seat 4, seat 5, seat 6. Which seat is the middle seat? This is the middle seat. So he ended up here. Write his new seat number. What is the seat number here? It is A5. The answer is A5. So if you follow your instructions correctly, you will land at the right position. This example that we are going to do now is adapted from the 2019 Gauteng Province Paper 1. A sitting plan of an airplane is given alongside. Study it and answer the questions that follow. So guys, here is an airplane. Let's study it. We've got the symbols here. The first one, this is the United First. So if you see a seat like this one, it's very light gray. This is the United First. And then the dark gray seat represents the Economy Plus. So this is the Economy Plus seats, the dark gray. And then the white ones, the seats with the white inner part, these are your economy seats. And this is this area. All the seats here are your economy seats. And then if you see a dot, a black dot, then this is the in-seat power, like this one here. And what does it mean? It means that if you are seated on this seat, you are able to plug in your cell phone to charge it, or you can plug in your laptop and continue with your work. And then you can see that the economy class doesn't have the in-power, the in-seat power. It's only the economy plus and the United First that has those powers, those in-seat power. And then when you see this thick, this solid line, it means it's an exit row. So if people wanted to exit, that is where they will be walking. So this is the exit row. This is the exit row on the airplane. And then if you see these arrows here, these arrows, they indicate the exit doors. So if you wanted to leave this plane, you must look for this symbol. Then it will tell you that this is the exit doors. You must exit through those doors. And then when you see two people standing like this is the lavatory. The lavatory, it means what it is there? The bathrooms. And then when you see sign of a hanger, we know that it is the closet. And then when you see a cup, it means it is the galley. So here are the possible questions. How many exit doors are indicated on the sitting plan? What is the key for exit door? Again, you are looking at the arrows. So let's count how many arrows we can see. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the correct answer is 6 exit doors. And then B, write down the row numbers of the economy class seats that have in-seat power. So looking at this, guys, the economy class, it is this dark gray seats. It is this area here. This is our economy plus. So we must write down the number of seats that have in-seat power. And what is the symbol for the in-seat power? It is this black dot here. So when you see this black dot, we must know that that means that it is the in-seat power. So guys, looking at our seats here, you can see that these people are sharing those power sockets. It doesn't mean that every seat has a socket. So if you want to know the number of seats, or they want us to write down the row numbers of the economy plus. So all the rows, they actually have the in-socket power. Road E, it has the power. Road F, it has the power. Road D, it has the power. C, B, and A, because they are sharing. And then it's difficult to tell if this socket, it is for row A or for row B. If this socket is for row B or row C, it's very difficult to tell. So all of them, they are sharing. So I think it is safe to say from row A right up until row F. Or if you want, you can write all of them to say A, B, C, D, E, and F. They all have the power socket. The actual length of the airplane from the cockpit to the end of the passenger cabin is 50 meters. Here, they've done it for us. They've made the actual length from here to there. It is actually 50 meters long. If the scale of the sitting plane is 1:200, calculate the length of the airplane on the sitting plane in millimeters. Remember, I said when you write your scale, it is always the map distance is to the actual distance. So we are given a scale. They say the scale is 1:200. And what are we given? Here we are given the actual length, and they say the actual length is what? Is 50 meters. So on this section of actual, I'm going to write what? I'm going to write 50 meters. So what is it that we must find? We need to find the map distance. In other words, we must calculate the length of the airplane on the plane. That is why it is a distance on the map, or the distance on the plane in millimeters. So here, I'm just going to say this is the length. Girls and boys, I'm going to give you guys a chance to try this one. I've already started it for you, so you just have to continue just for 1 minute, and then I will be back.
Excellent. Excellence is a habit. Excellence is a quality you have, a quality I have. It's a quality we have when we honor what is true to us. Yes, we are gifted differently. uNkulunkulu akasinganga ngokufana. Excellence is striving for your best. Whenever you have a particular project, test, homework, uzibuze, ask yourself, is this my best? Can I put in more effort? Excellence is striving to be in the top 1% of the area in which you are gifted. And so I challenge you, in every single thing that you do, in every single area that you are gifted in, whether it's sports, it's academic, ucula, whatever that gift is, strive for excellence.
guys got the answer to this one. So this one is very easy because I've already started it for you. That's how nice I am. So from here on, we cross multiply, girls and boys. We say length multiplied by 200. It is 200 length. And then 1 multiplied by 15. It is actually 15 meters. But we don't want 200 length. We want only length. So how do we get rid of this 200? By division. We divide by 200. And what we do on the left-hand side, we also do on the right-hand side. So that the 200 and the 200 can cancel. Therefore, length is equals to, we say 50 divided by 200. The answer that we are getting there is 0.25. But remember, it is 0.25 meters. And what was the instruction? They want the distance in millimeters. So now you must convert from meters. You must convert 0.25 meters. You must convert it to what? To millimeters. What do we use? We say again, King Henry died miserable death called measles. And then in between, we've got 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. So I said to you when you started, when you're moving from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you are always going to multiply. And in this case, we are moving from meters to what? To millimeters. So it is from a larger unit to a smaller unit. Therefore, we are going to multiply. Then you say 0.25 multiply. What are we going to multiply with? It's always 1. And then how many zeros? 1, 2, 3 zeros. So you multiply by 1, 2, 3. So the conversion factor between meters and millimeters is 1,000. So you say your 0.25 multiplied by your 1,000. The answer that we are getting there, it is 215 millimeters. So the distance on the map, the distance on the plan for this airplane, it is 250 millimeters. Guys, I hope you are enjoying and you do realize that this is just repetition of everything that we have done. From the moment we started with scale to the time we're doing the maps, and now we are doing the sitting plans, everything is just repetition. That is why when I started with the section of scale, I told you that once you grasp the concept of scale, once you understand the concept of scale, I'm telling you this entire topic is just going to be a smooth ride for you. And then number 3, this is a possible exam question. It is from the 2022 June Gauteng Province paper 2. So you guys actually set for this particular exam. This was in your exam. So if you're not sure how you did in your exam, now you are going to find out on this particular question. So number 3, the diagram alongside shows a sitting plan for a theater. So here is our sitting plan. Here we've got the stage. The stage, it means it is the front. This is in the front. This is where the magic will be happening. And then, guys, we've got our side blocks. This is the side block. This is the center block. And then this is also a side block. So this one, guys, it was very tricky. Because if I'm looking at row A here, if I wanted to know how many seats are here, most of you said 48 minus 44, which is wrong. When you count the seats that are here, 44 is included. 48 is also included. So you must count. You must say 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Meaning how many seats are there? There's actually 5 seats just for this row A here in the side block. If you come to the center block, if I want to know how many seats are here, it is 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So how many seats are here? It is 10 seats. Move to the B block. How many seats are there? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So how many seats are here? It is 11 seats. I'm doing this last example. At C block, how many seats are there? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So it is how many seats? It is 12 seats. Do you guys see the pattern here? It was 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So they are just increasing by 1. Because this side, it is the same. It is the 20s. It is all the same. So even the number of seats, they are also going to increase by 1. So if here it's 10, 11, 12, meaning here is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I hope you guys are okay. I hope you guys are good. Let's look at the question now. What is the probability? Probability, it is the chance of something happening. What is the probability of choosing a seat from row H? From the seats in the center block, and you must give your answer as a percentage. Excuse me. So you ask yourself first, H, how many seats are in row H? H in the center, and just H, the H in the center block only. So here at H, we've got how many seats? The 17 seats. So the probability is, we said how many seats in row H? It is 17 seats over. From the seats in the center block, you want the total number of seats here in the center block. So how do you do that? You must actually add all the seats, 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13. Add all the seats, guys. I'm also going to do the same here with my calculator. It is 10 plus 11 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14 plus 15 plus 16. I don't know if you don't have your calculator, how are you going to do this one? Because some of you have this tendency of going to the exam room without your calculator. So if you don't have a calculator, as a mathlet, you're not going to survive this question. So the total number of seats in this middle block, it is 255 seats. We've got 255 seats. That is the probability. But there was an instruction that we must give the answer as a percentage. What is the meaning of percentage? It means we must times by 100. So we punch in on our calculator now to say 17 divided by 255 multiplied by 100. So the answer is 6.67%. They didn't say it must be rounded to the 2 decimal places or 1 decimal place or the nearest whole number. The only instruction that they gave was that it must be written as a percentage. So this is our answer. It is 6.67%. Guys, working with seating plans or layout plans, it's very easy. It's just that it is time consuming because most of the time they're asking you questions and then you have to count manually one by one. That is time consuming, but it is also things that are very easy, which takes me back to my point that I made when I started, that most learners, they are failing this section not because they don't know, but because they are lazy. People are lazy to count the number of seats that are given there. Sometimes it would be a stadium. You'll be required to count the number of seats that are there in that stadium. Unfortunately, if you are lazy, you are going to want to guess and you cannot get marks for guessing because obviously your answer is going to be incorrect. B, what is the seat number for a person seated on the right side of the stage, at the 4th row from the stage, in the first seat from the passage between the center block and the side block? Another popular question when it comes to seating plans. It means here now they are giving us the instructions and now we must explain where the person is going to land. Let us start from scratch. What is the seat number? That is the question. For a person, where is the person seated on the right side of the stage. Guys, this is the right side. I'm looking at this diagram. That is the right side. So at the fourth row, what is row number 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this person is in this row. Seated right side of the stage at the fourth row, we've located the fourth row in the first seat from the passage. So this is the passage. The first seat is just here, so it is D1. The first seat is 44. So the first seat there, it is what? It is D44. This is the answer. So the seat number, it is D44. C. What is the total number of seats in rows D, E, and H? Let us start here. In row D, how many seats are here? We said it's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So it is 13 seats here. And then let's determine the number of seats here. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. So it is 8 seats. And then let us determine here. It is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it is 8 seats. And then we also want the seats for what? For E. So for E, it is what? From 11, it means it is 7 seats. Here, it means it is 14 seats. And then from 44 to 51, so here it means it is 9 seats. And then we go to H. From in H, how many seats are there? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So it is 17. I hope you see that I'm doing this manually. So this is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So from 8 to 19, it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It is 12. And then this one from 44 to 55, it is 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Therefore, it is 12 seats. Guys, I just want to check here if I did it correctly. From 11 to 19, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It should be 9 here, not 7. I'm sorry about that. So now let's count the number of seats now. For D, it must be 8 plus 13 plus 8. And then for E, it must be 9 plus 14 plus 9. And then for H, it must be 12 plus 17 plus 12. So let's see the totals and then we'll do the grand total. So it is 16 plus 13. It is 29 here. 18 plus 14. So guys, do you see that if you don't have your calculator, you are not surviving this one? 24 plus 17. Where's the delete? Plus 17. It is 41. So now the grand total, it is 41 plus 32 plus 29. What is the final answer? It is 102. So that is the total number of seats in rows D, E, and H. Like I said, that you have to, the answers are here. You just have to do the work. If you are lazy, there's no reward for laziness. We have a different one here. Study the cinema seating plan alongside and answer the questions that follow. So this one is an example of a cinema seating plan, guys. And then we've got the screen here. If it's the screen here, remember in a cinema, that is where we watch movies. So since this is the screen, it means this is the front part of the cinema. And then we've got your walls on both sides. And then we've got the aisle. The aisle is like the passage where you will be walking as you are moving from one seat to the other. And then we've got the different colors to explain the seats that are in that cinema. So if a seat is colored blue, it means that seat is available, is vacant. Remember, when you go to watch movies, you don't just go and say, I'm here to watch a movie. No, you need to purchase a ticket, a movie ticket, and then that movie ticket, it will tell you where you are going to be seated. You will then be allocated a seat number, and that will tell you where you are going to be seated. And if you're looking at this plan of ours, it also has a numbering system. For example, if you're going to sit in the front seat in front of the screen, that is row A. So it is the A block. So if you want seat A3, this is seat A3. If you want maybe C19, this is C19. So it is the normal common numbering system that we are used to by now. So if you see a seat being red, it means that seat is no longer available. It has been booked. If you see a pink seat is not available. It is unavailable. We don't know what could be the reason. Maybe it is broken, but it is not available. If you see a purple seat, the purple means that it is for people that are using wheelchair only. I hope we understand our cinema seating plan. Let's go to our questions. First question, are the seats N11? Where is N11? This is N11 and N12. So these two seats here. Are the seats N11 and N12 available? What color are they? They are red. So are those seats available? No, because red means they are booked. So the answer is no, they are not available because they are booked. Not available, they are booked. That is the correct answer. B, which seats offer you and your classmates a best view and why? So if you were going to the cinema, which seats would offer you the best seat, the best view? Remember, this is the screen. Again, this one, it depends from person to person. It depends what reasons are you going to give to support. So if I was going to the cinema with my friends, would definitely choose the middle row, the middle row. So anything between E and H, this is where we would want to sit. Why do I want to sit here? Because it's right in the middle. It is not too close to the screen, and yet it is also not too far from the screen. So it's just in the middle. So for me, this would give a perfect view. So depending on your preference and your reasoning, it depends on each person. The other person with visual problems, they can prefer that they want the front seat. They want the front seat experience. And then your reasoning could be that you don't want any distractions of people moving up and down. When you are sitting in the front, you are the only one that is sitting in the front. So there isn't a lot of movement of people doing ups and downs. So depending on your preferences and the reason that you are giving. You are going to the movies with a friend in a wheelchair. Name one seat where they can sit and the seat next to it where you can sit with them. So remember here, we've got a key for people that are using wheelchairs. The key that is used by wheelchair people, it is the purple seat. So if I was going to the movies with my wheelchair friend, if I wanted to sit next to them, I will have to sit where? At D1. Because if I'm sitting at D1 here, then my friend can be able to sit here. Or I can sit at D11. When I'm sitting at D11, then my friend can sit here next to me. I hope you guys understand. So I'm going to say the answer here. I will sit at D1 or D11 and a friend will sit next to me. Next to me on the wheelchair seats. This is so nice. Remember I told you that the answers are here. All the answers are given to you. You just have to look for them. You just have to work for them because they are there. They're given to you. And then what fraction of row n has been booked? Let us go and look at n. Where is n? This is n. And how do we know that the seats are booked? They will be colored red. So how many seats are booked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is 5 seats out of how many seats in total? It is 1, 2, 3. It is 1 up to what? Up to 24. So the number of seats that are booked, it is 5 over 24 because they just said they want a fraction. They said what? Fraction. So the answer is 5 over 24 seats. Only 5 seats out of the 24 seats are booked. A different seating plan, this one. Study the map of the shopping center below and answer the questions that follow. So before we go to the questions, let us first study this shopping center that is given to us. We've got a shopping center, guys, here. I've got some missing information. I was supposed to have indicated the keys here for you guys. So, but I will quickly break them down for you. So if we see here P means this is for parking. And when you see a wheelchair, it means that it's the parking for disabled people. And then we've got G1. This is actually an entrance. And then there's also parking here next to this entrance. We've got G2. G2 is also an entrance. And then there's this symbol of a phone here. This means that this is a public phone. Here, we've got a parking again in G3. G3 is an entrance. We've got parking. And then there is also a wheelchair, a wheelchair symbol, meaning that this is a disabled people parking. And then here is parking. And then these symbols, I want to explain these symbols, guys. When you see this symbol here, it indicates that it is the lift. So if you see the two arrows, one going up, one coming down, it indicates what? The lifts. The lifts are transporting us up and down in shopping centers. And then if you see this one, this is the symbol for staircases. So this means it is your stairs. And then when you see a wheelchair, it means for disabled personnel. And then this symbol is for bathrooms. When you see these symbols, it means it is the bathrooms. And then this one, guys, it means there are escalators in that section. So here we've got the lift. We also have the stairs. And then I think I've explained all the symbols that we can come across in this plan. And then how many entrances do we have? We've got G1, G2, and G3, meaning that there are 3 entrances to this shopping complex. Now that we've studied our shopping complex, I think we can safely go to our questions. A. Why do you think Checkers and Pick n Pay are the same color? Let us look at Checkers. This is Checkers and this is Pick n Pay. And both of them are colored yellow. So why is it that they are colored? They have the same color. The reason could be they are the same type of stores. Both of them are grocery stores. That could be the reason. So it means for this complex, for this plan, they are using color to label their shops. Especially if you look at Woolworths and Edgar's, they sell the same type of items, which is clothes, and then they are colored purple. And then that will make you assume that even shop 101 and 102, 107 and 40, they are also selling clothes. So to answer our question here, they are colored the same color because they both sell groceries, or they sell the same type of things. The same type of things or items. So that is why they are colored, they are labeled using the same color to show that it is the same shops. Not really the same, but they deal with the same items. Is the gym on the ground floor? Explain. So we've got the gym, guys, here, and then there's an arrow that indicates that if you are going to the gym, you must use either the lift or the staircases. So to answer this question, it means no. The gym is not on the ground floor because you need to use a lift or the stairs to move to where the gym is. No, so the answer is no. It is not on the ground floor. It is for you to go to the gym. To go to the gym, you must use the stairs or the lift. So it means that there's no way that the gym is on ground floor. Otherwise, if it was on ground floor, you wouldn't have to use the stairs or the lift to get to the gym. By which entrances can disabled parking be found? Remember, we've got we've got how many parkings? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 parkings. So we want to know by which entrances can we find the disabled parking. So the first disabled parking is here. In which entrance? In G2. Let us go to G1. We don't have disabled parking. Let us go to G3. We do have disabled parking. G3. So it's only at the 3 entrances at G2 and G3. That is where you will find disabled parking. Give a possible reason for why this shopping center has 4 ATMs. Let us locate those 4 ATMs. There is 1 ATM there. There is the second one, the third one. There is the fourth one. For such a small shopping complex, why do you think they would have 4 ATMs? What could be the reason? Well, the only reason that I can think of that makes sense, it could be those ATMs are from different banks. It can be all those 4 ATMs are from Nedbank, or all those 4 ATMs are from Absa. So the only reason that is valid is there is 4 ATMs because it's ATMs for different banks. So if it is ATMs for different banks, it means if you are using Absa, you are accommodated. You can go to your Absa ATM. If you are using Capitec, you can go to a Capitec ATM. If you are using FNB, you can go to a FNB ATM. And if you are using Standard, you can also go to your Standard Bank ATM. So this is to try to accommodate all the clients from different banks. A different plan now, this one. The matric learners of Sunset High School set for their National Senior Certificate exams in November 2021. Below is a sitting plan of the matric learners in the school hall. Girls and boys, you will see as we are about to sit for your prelim exams and your final exams, you will not be writing your exams in your normal classrooms. You will not be sitting wherever you want to be seated. There's going to be a special sitting plan that is going to be developed, and then you guys will be seated according to the given sitting plan. Now, luckily for you as the Mathlead learners, we have done and exhausted the sitting plans. So it won't be difficult for you to read the sitting plan at your school and to go and locate your seat where you should be seated. So you guys will not be fighting over chairs and table to say, I should be sitting here. No, you shouldn't be sitting here, because now all of us, we know how to read the sitting plans and we know how to locate our seats. So here is a sitting plan. We've got the invigilators timetable. The invigilators table. This tells me that this is the front of the hall. So this is the front of the hall. And then the seating plan, again, there's a numbering system. For example, if I wanted D6, seat D6, this is my dean. This is 6. So where would seat D6 be? This would be dean 6. If I wanted F9, seat F9 would be, yeah, this is F9. If I wanted B4, this is seat B4. So this is how you locate your seats. This is how you study a seating plan. And then here we've got a compass direction. But as you can see with our compass direction, our north is not the normal north that is facing up. It's a bit skew. And you don't say that this compass is wrong, let me turn it around and fix it. No, you work with the compass direction that is given to you as it is. The other thing that we identified on our plan is that we have a scale. And what type of a scale is given, guys? This is the number scale. So when you are given a number scale, you must already know that one, you are going to be asked to calculate the distance, whether it's the actual or the map distance, but there's definitely going to be some calculation of the distance. And then secondly, you are either going to be asked to identify the type of scale. When you identify the type of scale, you will mention if it's a number or a bar scale, or they will ask you to explain the meaning of the given scale. So for this scale, how do you explain the meaning of this scale? You will say 1 unit on the map represents 300 units in reality. Now, let's go to our questions. A, determine the general direction. Guys, when you see the word general, you think compass. Determine the general direction if traveling from C5 to F8. Another confusion. When you say it's from, that is your position. That is where you are at. That is where you are going to draw your compass direction. So where is C5? This is C5. This is exactly where you are going to draw your compass. And remember, our compass is like this. It's not a normal one. So this is north, this is east, this is south, and this is west. So from C5 to where? To F8. So it means you are in C5. We want to know where is F8. So where is F8? This is F8. So what is the general direction? It is south. So the correct answer there, it is south. It is in the south direction. Or for those ones that are lazy to write, you will just say S. S for what? S for south. So the key word, guys, in the general direction, when you see the word general, you know it must be compass. And they say from. When they say from, that place that they're saying you are from, that is where you go and put your compass direction. And then your compass direction, it will tell you the position of the other place that the examiner is asking about. Explain the meaning of the given scale. Like I said, that if you are given a scale, there are high chances that you will be asked to explain the meaning of that particular scale. So let us explain the scale. The scale is 1:300. So how do you explain it? You say 1 unit on the map. It represents 300 units in reality. That's it. You are done. 1 unit on the map represents 300 units in reality. If you forgot, you are going to forget this word unit. You can even use centimeters. You can say 1 centimeter on the map represents 300 centimeters in reality. The most important thing, guys, here is that the units must be the same. If you use centimeters here, even here it must be centimeters. If you want to use millimeters, you can say millimeter, but even here now it must also be millimeters. So whatever units that you decide to use, it must be the same units. Please don't forget. Or you can just say 1 unit on the map represents 300 units in reality. Remember, the first unit will always represent the unit on the map distance or the distance on the plane. And then now we are going to use the given scale to determine the actual length of the following in centimeters. The fact that they want you to calculate the actual length, it means you are going to use what? Your scale. And like I said, if you are given a scale, you are definitely going to be asked to calculate the actual distances. So our scale that is given, remember I said the scale, it is always the map is to what? Is to actual. And then our scale is 1 is to what? Is to 300. So they want us to calculate the actual distance of the candidates table in E7. Where is E7? This is E7. But do we have the dimensions of the length of this table? We don't. So that is where now your ruler comes in. You are going to take your ruler and then you are going to measure the length from here up to there. So when I measured with my ruler using the centimeters, I measured 0.5 centimeters. 0.5 centimeters. I want the actual distance. I don't have the actual distance. So I say this is the actual distance. So from here on, you are going to cross multiply so that we can find your actual distance. Then you are going to say 1 multiplied by the actual. It is the actual. And then we've got 300 multiplied by 0.5, which is 150. But remember, you multiply the 300 by centimeters, meaning that the actual distance would actually be 150 centimeters. That is the actual length of the candidates table. It is 150 centimeters long. Guys, I would have loved for you guys to try this one on your own. So this one, we have to use the given scale again to determine the actual length of the invigilators table. And here is the invigilators table, guys. This whole block, it is the invigilators table. And when they talk about the length, with that previous question, E7, I said the distance from here to there because they said the length. And then remember length, we are referring to the longer side. That is the same thing again here, which is with the invigilators table, is that the distance from here up to there, that is the longer side. So therefore, this becomes our length. So this is our length. So guys, you are going again for this one, you are going to rewrite your scale to say 1 is to 300, remembering that the first unit represents the map and then the second unit represents the actual. So when you measure your units, when you measure using your ruler, from here, guys, up to there, I actually got 3 centimeters. I'm not sure about you guys that side, it is 3 centimeters or it is 30 millimeters. So just to make it exciting, I'm going to work with millimeters. So my distance on the map, I said it is 30 millimeters. And then I want the actual distance. So the actual distance, I'm just going to write actual because I don't have it. And then from here, we are going to cross multiply. 1 multiplied by actual is going to be actual. And then we are going to say 300 multiplied by 30. The answer is 9,000. Remember, guys, we multiplied with millimeters. So the answer would be 9,000 millimeters. But what was the instruction? They want the total length in what? In centimeters. So again, we're going to have to convert this millimeters to centimeters. What is the conversion factor between millimeters and centimeters? That is where King Henry died miserable death called measles come in. And then in between, it's a 10, it's a 10, it's a 10, a 10, a 10, and a 10. When you are converting from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you are going to multiply. From a smaller unit, sorry, this is millimeters. From a smaller unit to a larger unit, you are always going to divide because we are moving backwards. So here, we want to convert from millimeter to centimeter. We are going back. When you are going back, it means we are going to do what? We are going to divide. And then we are going to divide by how much? By a 10, because between millimeter and centimeters, there is a 10. Therefore, the actual distance is equals to 900 centimeters. That is the actual distance. So the most important thing here, guys, remember this diagram. This is not the original diagram. It has been reduced. It has been made bigger. So obviously, the answer that we are getting will not be an accurate answer. The most important thing here, it is the principle, the method on how to go about when you are answering these types of questions. So I did these calculations using the millimeters units. So I want to do the same calculations, but this time not working with the millimeters, but rather working with the centimeters. So my scale, it is 1:300. And I said the measured distance now is what? It is 3 centimeters. So we've got 3 centimeters. I want the actual distance. So we cross multiply 1 times actual. It gives us the actual. And then 3 multiplied by 300 should be 900. 3 times 300, it is 900. But it is 900 what? 900 centimeters. And this is the correct answer because that is the same answer that we got here. Here it is also 900 centimeters. So this one is very short. What I'm trying to show you guys is that you need to be smart. In the exam, when they say give the actual distance, maybe they say in millimeters. It means that when you do your measurements with your ruler, you must measure using what? The millimeters, because it means you won't have to do any conversions. If like in this case, they want the answer in centimeters. So when you do your measurements with your ruler, you don't use your millimeters, but rather use your centimeters so that you don't have the stress of converting at the end. So this is how you use your scale and your ruler to calculate the actual distance. I'm going to preach this like I always do. You can never ever go into an exam room, especially when writing paper 2, without a ruler. You must always have your ruler and a proper ruler for that matter. Your ruler and your calculator are important resources for you to have a successful exam writing of mathematical literacy paper 2, both paper 1 and paper 2. So please, we don't want to see any mathematical literacy learners in the exams without a ruler. You must always have your ruler and your calculator. And then, girls and boys, we have come to the end of today's session. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed and you've learned so much on this section. So just to now summarize the lesson objectives from the main topic of maps, plans, and other representations of the physical world, that we started with our scale. And then we said we have 2 types of scales. We've got your number scale and your bar scale. And then you need to know how to explain both the scales. You must know how to explain your number scale, which is also known as a ratio scale. And how do you explain that? You normally say 1 unit on the map represents so number of units in reality. Whereas with your bar scale, when you explain your bar scale, you need a ruler. You cannot operate or explain a bar scale without the use of a ruler. So when you explain your bar scale, you basically explain what you are doing. So you take your ruler and then you measure. Then you will say 2 centimeters measured on the bar scale represents maybe 200 kilometers in reality. And then once you are given a scale, guys, there is absolutely a big chance that you will be asked to identify the type of scale that we're given. So obviously you must know it's a number or a bar scale. And then secondly, you must know how to explain. And then thirdly, you are definitely going to be asked to calculate the distance, either the actual distance or the map distance. But again, your ruler is also very important for you to answer any scale related questions. So make sure that you go and practice those questions that are related to your calculating the actual distance and the map distance. You will see once you practice 3-4 questions, you will start to see that no man, this thing is easy, and all the time we are doing one and the same thing. And very, very important, girls and boys, you must know your King Henry died miserable death called measles. This is very, very important part of paper 2 for both maps and plans and your measurements, because you are always going to be required to do the conversions. And these are your low-hanging fruits. This is where you are supposed to collect as many marks as possible. And then we worked with the maps. We said we have two types of maps. We've got maps of smaller areas. The maps of smaller areas are the ones that we're focusing on for today. That is your sitting and your layout plans. We had layout plans of a classroom. We had sitting plans of the stadium, sitting plans of a cinema, a sitting plan in a bus, in a train. The most important thing about those layout plans is that the answers are all there. You don't have to think about anything else that is outside the plan. All the answers are given to you. You must just make sure that you study your plan, you understand it. All the keys that are given there, you must know what those keys mean. You must know if you are working with a map, a plan of a mall or a shopping center, you must know which keys are for the bathrooms, which keys are for the ATM, which keys are for restaurants, because you are going to be asked questions based on those keys. So you make sure that you study your plan, you understand it, because that is where your answers are. And then if you're working with your stadiums, your cinemas, you must be patient, guys, and know that you will be asked to count the number of seats in the stadium. So you must be able to count them one by one for you to get an accurate answer. Most learners, they don't get that question right because they're trying to find a shortcut, and that is where they end up making mistakes when they have to count the number of seats that are given in a particular plan. And then you also had maps of larger areas, like your street maps. Your street map, it will be showing a town, and then in that town it will show all the routes and the streets that are given in that particular town. For an example, a map of Johannesburg, it can be showing all the different routes in the town of Johannesburg, and then there are some keys that will be used in that map, like you will see a route and then it will have just one arrow facing that direction. The examiner can ask you, what is the mean, what does this arrow symbolize in that street? So you must know that this arrow, it symbolizes what? One-way road. It means the road that we are traveling on, it is just a one-way route. So that is for your street map. And then you also have your provincial and your national map. So your provincial and national map, now it is now on a larger scale. And then in that type of a map, you will be given a compass direction. You will also be given a scale, or sometimes you won't be given a scale and you will be required to find your own scale. So now for national and provincial map, there's also some roads there that you must know. You've got your R roads, you've got your M roads, you've got also your N roads. For example, R, it could be R59, M, it could be M1, and then N, it could be N3. The examiner can ask you, what does the R in R59 stand for? You must know that this implies that it is a regional road. So normally, these are the big routes that are crossing from one province to the other, but they actually divide the regions, like the Free State region, the Vaal region, and the Johannesburg region. So these R59, the regional roads are used to divide those, to cross from one region to the other. And then you've got your M routes. The M is actually for metropolitan. Metropolitan. But if you are going to forget it, you can just say it is a metro. So these are the metro routes, and you normally find them in your metro cities. What are your metro cities? Like Johannesburg, your Bloemfontein, your Durban, your Pretoria. Those are your metro cities. So that is where you will find your M routes. So if an examiner asks you, what does the M on M1 stand for, or what does it imply? You shine there and you tell them that is a metropolitan or a metro road. And then lastly, we've got the N. This one is very common. I'm sure all of you can guess what this one stands for. This one is a national road. Again, these are the biggest ones because they cross from one province to the other. The other ones are so long, like your N1. I think the N1 crosses from the north there in Limpopo right up until Cape Town, down in the south of the country. So the N, your N1, your N12, your N3, N8, all those, as long as it has an N next to it, it implies that it is your national roads. And then you must be also able to give your general direction. Guys, there's a huge difference between giving the general direction of one place in relation to the other, or to give the directions when you are moving from one place to the other. When you hear the word general, please, when you see the word general, I want you to think compass. When it's general, it means you must use what? The compass direction. And what are the compass direction? It is never, ever, smoke, wheat. And then here you've got your NE, you've got your southeast, you've got your southwest, and lastly, you've got your northwest. So that is the general compass directions that you are going to use. When the question says give the general direction, compass direction is your answer. But when a question says give the direction for someone that is traveling from Johannesburg to Durban, they would have given you a map. So when you give such a direction, number one, you must always mention the point of departure to say, okay, from Johannesburg, you need to turn left on the N1. So you mention again, where do you turn? Do you turn left, right? Do you continue straight? You can even mention your east, your west, your south, and your east. And then as you are giving the instruction, mention all the important landmarks. Mention the roads that you are going to pass. Mention the towns and the cities that you are going to pass. Every single important thing, every important landscape that you see. And then finally, you must also mention the point of arrival to say that your destination will be on your left or your destination will be on your right. And it doesn't matter how big the map that you are working with. Even if it's just a small street map, when you are giving direction, mention the small streets that you are seeing there. Mention the landmarks. If there's a school, mention the school. If there's a church, mention it. If there's a police station, you mention it. If you are giving directions inside a hall, an examination hall, mention the seat numbers that the person is going to pass. Mention if there's a desk for the examiner then, or the invigilator, mention the desk. If you are in a cinema, if there is a certain aisle that you're going to pass, you mention it. If there's a screen, you mention it. So that is how you give the direction from one place to the other. You mention all the important positions that a person is going to travel on. And I think I have just summarized everything that you guys have learned from this section of maps, plans, and other physical representations. So guys, I really hope that you learned and you are going to use these videos now as you prepare for your prelim examinations and your final examination. And I honestly enjoyed this section. It's my favorite part of MathsLit, the maps and plans section. So I also hope that I was able to assist you guys into unpacking this some of the concepts that were giving you guys a bit of a challenge. So guys, thank you so much. Enjoy your afternoon. Remember to continue following the COVID-19 protocols because COVID-19 is still within us. So continue washing your hands, put on your mask and social distance until we meet again. Thank you.